Hey guys, welcome to Scratching the Dirt. This is Nikki. This is a carnivore vlog. Today is Monday, February 16th, and it is day 178 for me on the carnivore. So next Monday, I went back and looked at my notes. I started on August 23rd. So next Monday is 6 months of carnivore for me. So let's get into it. What's been going on in the past week? As far as numbers go, there's not really much change. I'm kind of just in this like cruising part of carnivore, I guess. I weighed in this morning a pound less than what I weighed in at 2 weeks ago. So I've basically been staying the same, like within a 3 pound up or down kind of thing. And that's fine. I knew that the carnivore would over time help my body adapt to the weight that it's supposed to be. So I haven't been paying a ton of attention to the actual weight. I do pay more attention to how I feel, and I try to figure out how much of that is my food choices and what's going on in life, because stress and other things can make you feel icky. So I'm doing well. Everything is just kind of cruising along. There's nothing really to update as far as numbers go. I haven't gained 20 pounds back, and I'm just holding steady. My energy level is good. My pain levels are good. I still haven't had a headache. I still don't struggle with the hip or knee or any of those things anymore. So all that is wonderful. What I do want to talk about today is more about kind of the logistics of being on carnivore. I don't know what carnivore would have looked like for me if I tried to do carnivore while I was still raising my family. I don't know if on a daily basis trying to cook something separate for me from the boys and my husband and all of that, if that would have worked. I know that it would have been just a little more difficult logistically, a little more effort and a little more work, but I can only kind of guess at that because I've done carnivore in a situation where it's just Jose and me in the house. The kids are all grown up. So it's just the two of us. But Jose does not eat carnivore. And so I just want to talk about how we've navigated that, because prior to me going carnivore, we would cook for one another. And we'd make certain kinds of meals, and then we would both eat that. When I went carnivore, it became, and we didn't even discuss it. It's just has over the last 6 months has just naturally become what it is. And it's kind of every man for himself. I'm lucky in that I don't have to worry about cooking for Jose or preparing his food. And honestly, I don't even have to worry about shopping for him. He now just shops for himself. He goes and gets whatever groceries he needs for the week, and I shop for myself. I do most of my purchasing at Sam's because the prices, the bulk prices, I go through a lot of meat. I go through a lot of product. So my shopping is actually really easy. But he goes to the grocery store and decides what he wants to take for lunch at work all week long, and what he's going to eat for dinners, and what he's going to eat for breakfast. And he handles all of that. Now, before anybody thinks that I'm a horrible wife because I don't cook for my husband anymore, I think, I don't know, I haven't asked him, but he's always liked the grocery store, and I've never liked the grocery store. Even when I was raising children, I hated going to the grocery store. And so he doesn't mind going and shopping. And the other thing too is I think that it has worked out for him because I get like a one-track mind, right? Like I get tunnel vision. I'm like, here's the things we buy, here's the things the kids like, here's what we eat, and then and I do that from my own perspective. Well, there's lots of things that Jose will eat that I would just never buy. Simple things like deli meat for sandwiches. I don't like deli meat. I don't like sandwiches. I never have. And so I never purchase those things. So if he ever wanted a sandwich, he would have to go to a sandwich shop or go to the grocery store and get those things, or remember to tell me that he wants those. And even then, the selection is vast of what you can get. And so in that regard, I think it has become easier for Jose to get the things that he wants to eat because he's in the grocery store, he's picking them up. He doesn't have to rely on me to choose specifically what he wants. As far as cooking goes, that also for us is pretty easy because we've always, from the beginning of our marriage, we've always both cooked. Jose cooked even more once the boys were out of the house and it was just the two of us. I've always cooked. I came from a family of 6, and so I've always cooked big meals, and that was just kind of the role I took. But for Jose and me, even before Carnivore, it was either he cooked or I cooked, and there's no division of labor like you get Monday nights and Wednesday nights and Friday nights, or and I take the others or anything like that. Honestly, we just kind of like move with the day. If it was a good day for me and a rough day for him, I would cook, and vice versa. And so for him to pick up cooking for himself, really, it was no big deal. But, there are times when if we do go out to eat, which we don't do very often, we're eat at home people. We don't like spending a lot of money on out to eat food or fast food. When we do, the selection, the number of places that we can easily go to is diminished. It's a smaller selection. Obviously, anywhere that has a burger, a steak, chicken wings, or like grilled chicken, any of those, barbecue, any of those. Speaking of barbecue, hey, so listen, y'all want to know what Jose brought home for me on Saturday on Valentine's Day? Because we don't really do Valentine's Day. It's not that we have anything against it. It just isn't a part of our relationship. It's not something that was important in the beginning to either of us. And so it's not really that important to us now. But he did come home with beef ribs for me for Valentine's Day. I was so excited. There's a place in town that does barbecue beef ribs, but they don't sauce them, which is wonderful for Carnivore because then I don't have to worry about sugar or anything in the sauce. They just, lightly season them with like salt and pepper, and then they serve the sauce on the side. And so he came home with beef ribs for Valentine's. It was the best Valentine's Day ever. But anyway, barbecue is one of the places we could go. I just stay away from the sauce. So, there's little things like that where he's had to make some concessions. So Jose grocery shops and cooks for himself. And we, choose the restaurants that we go out to when we do, with me in mind. Yes, it kind of puts me before him as far as those choices are concerned. But Jose will eat anything, so he's okay with it. I guess for us, and maybe our situation is more unique. I don't really know. Obviously, it depends on your family dynamic. It depends on your relationship. It depends on who you're responsible for, how many people you generally cook for. But the vast majority of the foods that I have eaten in the last 6 months is pre-made hamburger patties, frozen. I usually buy them frozen from Sam's, just cooked on a pan, right? And eggs. That's the majority of what I eat. I eat steak, and every now and then I'll have a little bit of bacon, but for the most part, I eat hamburger patties. And so even if you have to cook a meal for someone else or for your family, I think it's just a matter of putting another pan on the stove and throwing some patties in there and cooking those at the same time. Of course, if you have different tastes, like you'd rather eat a steak every day, or if you'd rather eat X, Y, or Z every day, that would change. But for me, because I am just kind of boring with my food choices, I could still cook for Jose easily and just put some hamburger patties in a pan next to what I'm cooking for Jose. He likes to cook for himself. So, this works out for us really well. I think that I can't sit here and tell you, oh, it's super easy and anybody can do it, because I don't know your situation. But I do know that if you get creative and kind of think it through, it is definitely possible. It's just a matter of, it's kind of like having one picky eater that you cook for separately or differently. If you have picky eater kids, you may know what I'm talking about. But and over time, it just has become something we don't really think about, right? Like I got a text from him yesterday while I was working. He's like, I'm going to the grocery store to get my groceries for the week. And like boom. And I came home from working and he had made himself like a big pot of soup that he's going to eat on, like easy peasy. And he likes it. Now, if you share your home with someone who doesn't cook, then obviously there's going to be some different things that you're going to have to do, like cook. Well, it's like meal prepping, right? If you're doing freezer prep, you're doing multiple things at the same time. You can just do that on a smaller scale for every meal. Easy peasy, right? I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, right? I am. Yeah, I am. I just wanted to kind of lightly hit on that topic today because it's one of the things that is a consideration, especially if you're like heading into carnivore and maybe you're a planner, maybe you like to know everything that needs to be done before you get started. It is something to think about. Think about the cooking and feeding your family situation in your house and how is that going to work? What's that going to look like? It can be done. It can be done the way Jose and I do it, or it can be done a number of different ways. I think that the benefits that come from being on carnivore, in my experience, are worth whatever kind of sacrifices maybe we've made when it comes to eating the same meals or prepping the same meals or grocery shopping for one another. And I think that part of that too is that Jose sees an actual difference and sees an improvement in the way I feel and the way I move. And he's okay with taking on the feeding himself role so that I can then only worry about myself and focus on that. So I really have a good situation. I have kind of the perfect situation for this, but well, I do. Jose may not, but I do. And so I just wanted to kind of chat about it because there are things that have changed, even though I feel like it's pretty much the perfect situation. There are things that have changed in our daily life because of my decision to go on the carnivore diet. Something to think about. Something to, be prepared for. Decide how you want to divide the roles. If you do want to divide the roles, or if you want to just add carnivore food to what you're already doing, however it works best for you, I say go for it and give it a try. And if you have to try several different methods, different ways of going about it, then do it because the benefits are worth it for sure. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to go. I'm going to go have a wonderful day. I hope you do the same. And I will definitely see you next Monday because it's going to be exactly 6 months since I started carnivore. So that's exciting. But thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any thoughts on multiple meals, carnivore and non-carnivore in a household and how to kind of prep and cook those. And I'm going to see you soon. Bye.